Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. This is the Hardworking Podcast with my good friend RJ and myself, Curtis. Today, we're going to talk about how to uh, talk to your kids about screen time and how to survive that. And then, do you want to introduce yourself, RJ?
I'm RJ Horner, beacon of life and leadership, and again, I'm here to help empower thought leaders on their journey of growth and development.
Fantastic. All right, so if you're a hardworking parent, you probably already know this is how difficult it is to get your kids to listen to you when they're on their devices, right? Have you ever had any issues with your kids, RJ, with devices?
Um, you know, it was a different world. Like my daughter, again, my kids are grown up, right? But I mean, I remember my son had a phone when he was about 11,
Yep.
and then as such, we had to fight with my daughter to because she wanted a cell phone at the same. But meanwhile, she's 9. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was an issue there. So, and screens. And I see why you chose this topic because
Mm-hmm.
screens have encompassed us all, right? As
Yep.
part of our daily life now and trying to get people's attention, especially kids when they're, busy doing this, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that is difficult. Sometimes it's like negotiating with a broker of world peace. Sometimes, right, with your kids. So they, oh, come on, we
Absolutely.
do this, get this done. It's like, nope, it's not working today.
And they're pretty skilled at negotiation too, aren't they?
It's funny if you want something bad enough, what you can do. It's pretty funny. All right, so let's paint a picture here. What I like to call the green screen time circus. It's 7 a.m. You know that magical hour when you're trying to get everyone fed, dressed, and out the door, and your 8-year-old out, yeah, 8-year-old bounds into the kitchen with energy like a caffeinated squirrel, already asking if he can watch YouTube while eating breakfast. It's just cooking videos, they insist. And you're thinking, okay, that sounds educational, right? But here's the thing yesterday's cooking video somehow turned into a 45-minute deep dive into slime making tutorials because apparently the YouTube algorithm thinks that you're interested in mixing ingredients. You really must want to know how to make glitter slime that you end up on your carpet, which really does suck. If you ever had that happen, you'll know.
Yeah, my niece used to make that all the time when she was younger. So I
Yeah,
get I get that phenomenon.
right on. Let's carry on with the little script here. And then, so let's say talk about kids having like they can become like tiny lawyers. I swear my 5-year-old could pass the bar exam with his arguments about why homework help requires watching 17 different alphabet songs. But mom, this one teaches about the letter B with dinosaurs. That's funny. But yes, it is interesting how kids can use that and how much energy and enthusiasm they have when they want something.
Hmm.
Say, okay, you gotta do this first. Oh, I don't want to do. I want to watch this. Like, no, no, you gotta brush your teeth, get
Right. And
dressed first, then you can have that.
that's what I was going to say is you as a parent, you're trying to negotiate all of these other daily life things, right? That
Yep,
must happen, right? Especially you got to get out the door by 8:15 because you got to get them to school. And
yep.
meanwhile, they're trying to negotiate all this stuff to delay. So yeah, it can be difficult and frustrating for a parent in that environment.
Yep. Yep, yep. Especially like the routine stuff that they should be doing every day anyway, and they still kind of like, oh, I want to do this first. Like, no, you got to do this first.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun
Yeah. Let's get this
morning.
stuff done. And if we have 15 minutes, we can watch your video.
Yep, yep. And then they don't like that. But then coming home, is same issue. It's like, come on. All
And
right.
that's why most parents give them their own screen time, right? Or their own screens so that kids can go off and entertain themselves. Um,
Yep.
I don't know if that's the answer, but certainly it, alleviates the arguments over it.
Yeah, it's like when we were kids, you just watch TV all the time, right? Or TV shows or
Yeah.
videos
Yeah.
to entertain us. So it's a little bit different, but I think
We
it's
we we didn't
similar.
have we didn't have 5 TV screens back then and three tablets and
No. No.
but so the
Right.
options are there now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, carry on here. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the screaming child on the floor. Screen time meltdowns are a special category of chaos that can transform your sweet little angel into a tornado of rage and despair faster than they can say, time's up. This, there's a classic, but I'm almost done breakdown. You announce on the screen time is over, and suddenly you hear the detailed explanation of why they absolutely cannot stop right now. I'm about to beat the beast or beat the boss. My friend is waiting for me. the show is only has 2 minutes left. Have you heard any of that excuses before?
Hmm.
Just one more minute, I'm
Yep.
almost done,
Yep.
because they think they can finish it. But I think the games are not like that. They just carry on to the next thing each time. So it keeps kids engaged, and it gives that little extra, oh, I almost did, almost done feeling, but you
Hmm.
never reach the end.
Right.
So that's where the parents come in, they crack the whip, or go reach in and take the phone or device away from 'em and watch the
The,
like craziness ensue.
the chaos. Yes.
But you know what? It dies down. You got to deal with it, and then eventually it gets okay. Fine. All right, I'll go do
I
this
think
now.
I think that's it. Like as much as we want to, I mean, we want to make our kids happy. We want to make a quieter and or a happier environment. Sometimes we have to be the boss and just say sorry. Like we're not doing this today. Take it away. Deal with the backlash that's going to occur
Yep,
because it is going to occur. And
absolutely.
but the kid, 5 minutes of crying, will and they'll move on.
Yep, yeah. They'll move on. It's just like any like transitional period of doing one thing to the next. Usually, it takes a bit for them to go over, and once they're there, they're fine.
Yeah.
And the kid have screen time. Okay, we're going to the park. I don't want to go to the park. But once they're at the park, it's like I don't want to leave. I want to stay
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So it's got to the transition period. You got to like get through that little bump to get to the next thing,
Yeah.
right? All right. So, side note, there's 2 minutes left. Somehow it turns into 20. It's like screen time operates on a different space-time continuum where minutes stretch like taffy, which is true. Then there's the it's not fair fury. This is when your child suddenly becomes a neighborhood screen time policy analysis. Tommy's mom lets him play for 3 hours. Yeah, well, Tommy's mom also lets him eat ice cream for breakfast, but we're not having that conversation right now. Have you ever used that when your kids? Oh, so and so does this. I should be able to do this.
Yep. Hey, listen, I'm not Mike's parents. You know what I mean?
Nope, that's right.
I'm,
That's a good
you know,
excuse. Yeah, it's good to
absolutely.
come
I'm
back.
not Mike's parents. You're dealing with what I give to you or tell you to do. Pure and
Right.
simple. Like I said,
Yep.
in my house, we've always been the boss, right? Yes, it's great to be great parents. You know, most parents would love to be a child's friend,
Hmm.
but you are their parent first and
Yeah, you're
foremost. And,
still
and
the leader. Yep.
unfortunately, yeah, you have to take that onus and that responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. But you can still be a friend, but you also have to be that
Right.
boss leadership type role for the
Listen,
parents because
and
they
and
need.
and
Go ahead.
well, as your kids grow older, I found, you know what, just being a good advisor, right? Let your kids make their own decisions once they get older and learn the rules. First of all, we have to set down the rules.
Yep.
That's at this stage. Then, when they get a little older, let them make their own decisions, but be an advisor. And then they will always come to you for that guidance and
Yep.
advice.
Yep. Or at least try to get some information that maybe can help them.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't always have all the answers, but we have to give them some ideas of where to go. Right.
Hmm.
Fantastic.
And listen, you can always, and this may be a topic for another show,
Yep.
but you can always, say, look, I don't know the answer on this one, but let's look it up together. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So we'll
Yep.
both learn. So we're learning what to do in this circumstance, right?
Yep. For sure.
Don't let them think that, because listen, I don't know everything. I never will know everything. So
No,
hey,
that's
if
true.
we're
True.
if we're willing to learn, we can change our kids' lives.
Oh, for sure. Especially when we try to help them, it gives that little bond too, right?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right. So let's move on. Real solutions that actually work. So before you start thinking you need to know every screen in your house into a bonfire and move into a cabin in the woods, which only sounds pretty tempting some days for sure, let's talk about real solutions. These are tested and exhausted parents approved by children who don't have meltdown strategies. First up, the visual timer trick. Instead of verbal warnings that go in one ear and out the other, absolutely, faster than the water through a sleeve, use visual timers. Kids respond better when they can see time passing. Pro tip, let them choose the alarm sound. Suddenly they're interested in the process instead of surprised by it. I
I like.
had, yeah, that's
Go
good.
ahead.
Yeah, one mom had a daughter, chose a rooster crowing as her screen time alarm went off. Now, when it goes off, and instead of tears, they both start doing the rooster dance. Problem solved. And they got some exercise too.
Hmm.
So,
And I like this one. You know what? That's a technique I would have probably not even thought of. But you
yep,
know what? Saying that, yes, you've got 15 minutes for this, and then putting 15 minutes on a timer,
hmm.
right?
Well, with the
Something they can
phones,
observe. Yeah. Something they can observe and know that, this, okay, so yeah, I've got 5 minutes left, or I've got 4 minutes left. And like you say, this little trick of choosing the alarm tone kind of gives them something to look forward to
Yep,
instead
yeah,
of
it's
instead
something
of
they like.
yeah.
They will say, oh, hey, it's so and so or something or whatever. But also with the phones nowadays, you can actually set up each of the devices they use. If they go on YouTube or TikTok, you can actually set up timers now for them
Hmm.
built in. I know the kids ones you can do. I'm not sure about the regular YouTube, but the kids one you can say as soon as they go on, they have half an hour and they have to take a break, and then every half an hour they go back on. They
Listen,
can't go back on for like 5 minutes
listen,
or
we
something.
we adults need that feature too.
Yep.
We get
I don't know.
lost sometimes in YouTube, right?
Or yeah, if you're at home, wherever you sit on the couch. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? What's
You
this?
start
What's this?
watching some reels, and then yeah, and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gone forever.
yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it could be a maybe that could be like a new app or something. A 15-minute timer. Every time you touch your like social media, it goes up every
Yep,
15 minutes.
yep,
Time to shut her down. They got 2-minute break.
yep.
Move on to the next thing. All right. So next time, try earning your screen time. So you create a simple checklist of non-negotiable tasks: teeth brush, bed made, homework started. That happens before screens appear. This isn't a punishment, it's just the order of operation. Real life first, digital life second. Think of it as a video game. You can't unlock the next level until you complete the current challenge. Kids do understand this logic because games do have that. And here's a game changer: the screen time menu. Create a menu of approved content for different times of the day. Breakfast might be calm, educational stuff. Afternoon could be creative apps, and evening might be family movie time. When kids have choices with boundaries, they feel more in control and less likely to argue. And here's my personal favorite: co-viewing. Instead of instead of screens being a solo activity, make some of it social. Watch that documentary together, play the educational game as a team, or have your child teach you about their favorite apps. You can learn more about Pokemon from my 8-year-old than I ever thought possible. And you know what? It's actually pretty fun. So this like I like that the best is the co viewing and doing stuff together,
Hmm.
especially when you have some games that are like multiplayer. Because I know
Hmm.
with my daughter, she likes to play Roadblocks, and I also have an account. She has an account, and sometimes we'll play in the same game. It's kind of fun.
Listen, I remember when my kids were young, Mario Brothers was
Yep,
the game of the of the
it's very
century,
popular. Yeah,
and we spent hours playing that game because again, and it's multiplayer, and you could play up to
yep,
4 players, and it was a group thing, right? And so
hmm
we all got involved in that. We're all laughing, we're having great times
yep,
together. That's what it's all about, is the social aspect of it. But as far as the screen time, earning your screen time, I like that one. But you can also include, look, we need to teach our kids about chores, right? About
yep.
doing those things that are required, making your bed,
Cleaning your room.
maybe
Yep,
helping with the dishes, right? So getting these things done first, and then we can sit and enjoy some screen time,
yep,
either by yourself or
yeah,
together as a family.
yeah. It gives kids more of a sense of priority of things.
Yeah,
Same thing with getting outside too, right? Hey, it's Saturday. It's nice to get outside for 10 minutes, right? Just a
yep.
little push, even just the backyard to get outside. That's one thing we try to teach with my daughter is to have breaks throughout the day. If she, it's a Saturday and we're home, that to go outside, do other things, not just be only on the screen all day. So, which is good, right? You got to break it
Yep,
up a little bit.
absolutely.
All right, so let's make it fun instead of fighting. Here's a secret weapon that changed everything for my family. What if screen time management became a game instead of a battle? What if your kids actually wanted to follow the rules because the system itself was engaging? Try screen time token economy. Give the kids physical tokens, poker chips, coins, fun stickers that they can spend on screen time. If 15 minutes costs only one token, 30 minutes costs two, etc., right? They can earn tokens through chores, good behavior, complete tasks. Suddenly, they're making strategic choices about how to spend their screen time currency. My friend Sarah tried this with her twins, and within a week, they were saving up tokens for weekend gaming sessions and actually asking for extra chores to earn more. Chores people. That's amazing. They were asking to do chores just to get that
I
coin.
I love this tactic. Never would have thought of it. Thank
Yep.
you for bringing that out for people, because look, you're again, it's about getting the chores done. It's about doing the responsible thing, right? But at the same time, you're rewarding them, right? And here's the thing: we can give them allowance, like we used to do. We used to get when we
Yep.
were kids, and it's been a thing for eons. You give reward your kids with chores,
Yep.
by giving them allowance, and then they can go spend it at the store.
Right.
But here they can spend it within the household for things that they want to do, things that
Yep.
they enjoy, right? So I love this tactic, and I think
Hmm.
that's a great one for you to have brought out for
Yep.
people.
Yep. Yep. It's a good practice. It's something we've never do that before. We usually just give her money, cash,
Right.
and then she'll do certain things. Then it's sort of like you do it for a while, and for some reason it just fades away. And because you don't have a checklist on the fridge, we used to do that. And then after a while, I guess my wife, well, we got to clean the fridge up, and then we kind of lost that sort of reward system.
Hmm.
So we should bring it back. All right, and here's something else that might work like magic too: is making the transition from screens something to celebrate, not mourn. Screen time's over. We say now it's time for a family dance party or tables away. Who wants to make some cookies? The key is having something equally engaging and ready to go. I started doing what I call screen free victory celebrations. When my kids turn off their devices without arguing, we do a little victory dance. Sounds silly. Maybe it does work, maybe it may not for you, but my kid just loves it when we do something fun afterwards. So it gives them like
Hmm.
a reward type thing,
Hmm.
right? Which is great.
And I'm not that type of person. I can't just dance and be silly. You know what I mean?
But hey, the
But
kids
it's
might think it's funny when you're dancing.
Oh,
They do it
listen,
for their entertainment.
I yeah, and but I can't do that. I'm a very serious guy, and don't get
Okay.
me wrong. I like to laugh. I like to have fun, but I'm not.
Yep.
But my wife, she will do funny, silly things like that. Not a problem. She has this one thing we call the beans and cornbread dance, where
Okay.
there used to be a an interlude on TV where
Hmm.
but they'd play this song so she'd be like, beans and cornbread, beans and corn. You know what I mean? That's and I'm not that type person, but my
Right.
wife did it. She loves it, and the
And the
kids
kids.
would laugh their derrieres off.
Oh, right on. That's funny.
You know what I
It's
mean?
good
So
times. Yep.
so it works. So it does work, right? But I'm not
Right
the
on.
silly type. But some people can be.
Yep. Yep.
I wish I
Absolutely.
was more childlike that way. I do.
Yeah. It's practice. Maybe you can try.
You
But
just saw me. I did a little funny thing here on public
mm,
video, right?
yeah,
So
we're laughing. It was funny looking. I liked
it
it.
yeah,
It's
it can be
entertainment.
done, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now let's have some real talk here for a moment. Some days screens are going to save your sanity, and that's not just okay, it's necessary. The goal isn't to eliminate screens entirely. We're not aiming to spend some Pinterest perfect screen free childhood fantasy. We're aiming for balance and intentional choices. Bad day at work? Maybe 30 extra minutes of educational content will decompress isn't the end of the world. Sick child who needs some rest, screen time might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Give him some like think about something. New baby guy up all night. That morning cartoon might be the only thing standing between you and a complete breakdown, and that's perfect. I had a mom called into our show once crying because she felt guilty about letting her 4-year-old watch an extra hour of TV while she dealt with a work crisis from home. You know what I told her? Mama, you can keep your child safe, fed, and entertained while handling a professional emergency. That's not failure, that's successful multitasking.
hmm
Right on. The key is have about intentional being intentional about the choices rather than defaulting to screens out of habit or exhaustion. When screens become conscious choice rather than automatic response, everyone feels better about the decision, right? So
yeah,
it's not like, here, just take this, take that. I've seen parents, like I worked in retail, and I just see some parents just give the kids this thing. It shuts the kid up, but then the kids are not making the choice of buying a shoe. The parents pick out the shoes.
hmm
And the kid's so preoccupied with the screen. Yeah, sure, I'll take it. And then go back to the screen,
and
right?
then
Instead of,
and then they put it on and they have a tantrum because they don't like it. But
yep, but they
if you
agreed.
got them
Yeah,
involved, if you got them involved at the time that it mattered, it would
yep,
have been a different circumstance. Absolutely.
yep,
And I
yep,
like what you say, that what, it's not to eliminate, or the control of it. it's
yep,
it's to allow it to be functional in our lives, and that was the whole point of the devices when they were created, is to be functional tools for us to operate with,
yep,
right? And if you learn how to use them that way, they can really be effect. Look, we carry a computer in our pocket. We now
yep.
carry an entertainment device, a TV, a book. We carry this around with us
Music. That's
everywhere
right.
we go. Music,
Yep,
right?
yep,
So we now have these tools at our fingertips,
yep,
whereas before we used to have to have Walkmans. We had cassette players.
yep.
You know what I mean? Um, we didn't have a TV with us wherever we went, or
Hmm.
we had to carry a physical book with us. So we had this big bag. Now we got this cell phone that does
Yeah,
every
pretty
little
much
task.
everything. Yep. Yep. But physical books are still a good thing to have. It gives you a
Oh,
different
yeah.
different
It's
process
a
of
break
reading.
from
Yeah.
life, really.
Yep.
But
For sure.
it's a moment to relax in peace. So I agree with it, but at the same time, the device, if we use it properly, um, that was
Yep.
what it
Yep.
was intended
Yeah. It's a
for.
good tool. It's a good tool to have, not abuse, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do an action plan for this week. So, all right, hardworking parents, Let's turn this into an action. I'm going to give you a starter kit, one small change each day this week. No overwhelming or no overhauls, just simple steps. So, Monday, if you guys want the list, let me know. Just leave a comment and then I can get back to you and I give you this list if you like. Just let us know in the comments. We can totally give those up. All right. So, Monday, introduce a visual timer. Let each child pick their favorite alarm sound. My nephew chose a duck quacking, and now screen time ending is hilarious instead of horrible. Tuesday, create a simple screens earned checklist with three basic tasks. Keep it simple. We're not looking for perfection here, just progress. So, like earlier, we're talking about like the brushing your teeth, getting dressed for school, like the morning stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah. Or even after school, perhaps. Then Wednesday, try a 5 minute morning system and stick to it consistently. This takes one practice, but is a game changer. We've done this with my daughter. Say, hey, listen, you got 5 minutes. They say, okay. And the okay, time's up. It's like, oh, all right, here you go. And it gives it up. So doesn't always work, but most times it's pretty good. Thursday, have one co-viewing experience. Watch something together, or let your child teach you about their favorite app. Be prepared to be amazed by what they know. It is true. Some of the games she plays, like, oh my god, I don't think I could do this. It's like pretty complicated. Some of them.
Yep.
And then Friday's meeting time. Work together to create next week's screen schedule. When kids help make the rules, they are more likely to follow them, right? And gives them also a sense of accountability, right? And then the weekend, experiment with screen-free activities that are just as engaging as digital options. Build a fort, have a dance party, start art project that you've been trying to do. Go to the park. There's tons of activities you can do on the weekend. There's different events each weekend for the kids or the parents can bring their kids to.
Hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Hmm.
Remember, this isn't about perfection. Some days will go smooth, others will still feature meltdowns. Worth an Academy Award.
Hmm.
Gosh. But with consistency, patience, and a sense of humor, you will find that your family's screen time will find a sweet spot in it.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, you know what? You are the boss, first and
Yep.
foremost. You're the leader of the family. It's up to you to provide direction. There are going to be challenging times. You're not, always going to have them happy and pleased with what you decide for them,
Yep.
but you need to be the boss. And like you say,
Absolutely.
practice makes permanent. They say practice makes perfect. It doesn't. Nothing ever makes
Mhm.
it perfect, but practice makes it permanent. In other
That's
words,
pretty cool.
keep
Yep.
doing it, and eventually these things will become part of the protocol.
Right on. That's pretty good. That's a good one. All right. So let's wrap it up then. So I want you to remind you of something important. Every generation of parents has worried about their kids' relationships with new technology. Our parents worry about too much TV. Their parents worry about radio shows, and their parents probably worry about kids getting too many books by candlelight. That's crazy. Then the goal isn't to win every screen battle. It is to create a system where everyone feels heard, respected, and balanced. We're not just managing screen time, we're teaching our kids about how to have healthy relationships with technology that serves them for a lifetime.
Mhm.
And hey, if all else fails, remember that sometimes the best parenting strategy is survival. You're doing better than you think, even on days when you think you are failing. You got this. Screen survivor. One time, one boundary, and one deep breath at a time. Any other comments there, RJ, for today to wrap it
No,
up?
this has been a great show, great topic. Again,
Excellent.
managing your screen time is now part of our lifestyle. So, way to go on bringing this together for people and offering this up as a tool for people who because it does cause a lot of frustrations in a lot of people's
Absolutely. I'm
lives.
sure there's lots of parents out there that have some issues. But even like us as like couples, sometimes there's like, hey, why are you still doing this? We should be doing this. Right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's a wrap for today's episode of the Hardworking Parent Podcast. If this episode has helped you, share it with another parent who is fighting the good fight. And remember, we all are fighting this out together. one pixel at a time. Leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And when we go live next week, you'll get a notification. And I'm your host, Curtis, with my good friend and co
RJ.
host, RJ. Awesome. And just until next time, keep fighting the good fight. And remember, when your kid asks just 5 more minutes, you have permission to say no, even if they give you those puppy dog eyes. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week. Okay, bye.